Alright, today we're going to mount this Unifi AI turret to the side of a house. We are going to use a junction box to mount this. The turret line of cameras comes with a somewhat large pigtail in the back, which you can kind of, if you want to drill a 1-inch hole in your wall, or a 7/8 hole in your wall, you can fish this into the wall. In my case, for this installation, the cable is strung outside the house, so there's a couple options. You could just leave this exposed to the weather. This is the mounting base for the turret, and they've given you a path there for the cable to come through. I'll just show you how that works. And then you kind of just have this weatherproof connector hanging outside in the elements. They even give you a cute little lock there to hold the camera in place while you're installing it. So that's an option. I like to keep this all contained if I can. So we're going to use a junction box, and we make a few different sizes round junction box just for the AI turret, so it's just the right size. So we make these in a few different lengths, which can be helpful if you're trying to get a certain amount of offset from your building, especially if you're dropping down from let's say a soffit or something and you need to clear an object. But in this case, I think I'm going to go as small as possible. I'll use this one, I think, and this is about as small as it can be while still containing this connector. So now I could install this camera on the side of the building, and I could use that little wire path here. I think it'll be a little bit nicer if my wire comes out the side of the junction box. So I think I'm going to modify this. I'm going to drill a little hole there, and we'll do it that way. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I like to use step drill bits for drilling holes in plastic. These almost eliminate the risk that the plastic cracks. What happens with plastic is the traditional drill bit likes to catch and then screw itself in, and then you crack the plastic. So if you've ever drilled a plexiglass or like acrylic plate, you might have experienced this before. But so what I'm going to try to do, now this is going to be a little complicated because there's this wide flange here. I'm going to try to drill a little hole through the side and then just clear a little path for the cable to go in. So the second step on this bit is 1/4 inch, and that's perfect for Ethernet cables. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, so it kind of danced a little bit above the flange. Let's see if we can cut the rest of that out. These, I've done a lot of this with a utility knife or a hobby knife, but it turns out that these type of flush cutters actually do this work really well. Okay, I think that'll work. If I remember correctly, this is actually a replacement installation. There's a G5 bullet camera out there right now, and I want the better image and the bigger field of view with the AI turret, so that's why we're replacing it. I think it uses tough cable, and a 1/4 inch hole should be just about right. So now, as far as actually attaching this to the building, we sell a few different types of screws. the smallest screws will attach this camera base to the plate, and then we have a number 4 screw, which is quite small, and number 6 screw. I like to use these number 4s, even though they're a little more fiddly to hold on to, just because of their size. Just because they make smaller holes in the building, and in this case we're going into sheet metal siding, and these will pierce a lot more easily. So we're going to try with these, and I think we'll use these inside holes on the bottom there. And I'll probably just do 2 screws. I don't really think I need 4, but we'll get it mounted and then see how it feels and kind of go from there. And if I don't like the number 4 screws, I'll just switch to the bigger ones. So, all right, so let's get outside and get this mounted before we lose daylight today. All right, so here's the G5 bullet, and I think we're gonna put our turret right there, and hopefully we'll hide the holes from the bullet. I was wrong about this being tough cable. This is just standard riser cable, so that hopefully should get replaced at some point, but it is really cold outside, so I'm not gonna go pull another cable today. These G5 bullets, they're really good. The only reason I'm replacing it is I really just want a 4K image in this particular spot, and I would like the wider field of view. Okay, these are T10 torque screws. I didn't realize that, so I'm gonna have to go back inside and grab that bit, and then we'll be right back. All right, so this is sheet metal beveled siding, and it actually has like 1/2 inch of styrofoam behind it. And so what I must have been trying to get into, it actually has cedar shingle siding underneath that. I must have been trying to get all the way back with those screws. But for my turret, I'm gonna be satisfied just screwing into the sheet metal. I don't need to go back into like framing or anything. Just gonna stick some of these screws in my mouth. Okay. All right. I'll go like that. So I couldn't reuse any of the previous holes, they were too big. But man, these little number 4 screws, they just go into sheet metal so nice. As long as you don't drop them. All right, I apologize. I just had my camera die for the second time. Went in, got a new battery, so hopefully we'll capture this. I don't know where the video stopped, so just in review, we had a G5 bullet here. We removed that. We mounted this low profile enclosure, routing the cable kind of up. I'm gonna sneak it underneath this beveled siding and down behind the gutter. And I used 4 number 4 screws, the small screws, just into the sheet metal, and I'm pretty satisfied with how firm it is. And I just started to mount the camera base plate on with these little guys, and so we'll finish doing that. I can find my screwdriver in my pocket here. We provide stainless steel screws with all of our outdoor camera mounts for obvious reasons, but the big downside to that is the screws are not magnetic, so it can make this part of the installation a little trickier. But we also always include extra screws in case you drop one into a pile of leaves, which I'm sure we've all done. I like to get the screw kind of balanced on the bit, and then I sneak it in there. All right, we didn't drop any this time, so that's good. Okay, let's grab our camera. All right, so first thing, we'll put the waterproof connector in there. I'm gonna try to stuff this camera in my big coat pocket if I can. Yeah, that worked. All right, so that goes on first. Then our little rubber seal. These look like they're one piece, but they do have a break in them. And then this will fish through. You get the angle right. There we go. And now I'm not gonna fully tighten this down until I have the camera plugged in. Otherwise, it gets too hard to move that seal back and forth. Okay, so camera, click, scoot that forward, lock it, and then I tighten that seal in the back. Okay, and then we're just gonna hopefully tuck all of this. It's gonna be snug because we chose the smallest box, but it will work. Okay. Get that right? I think so. All right, I can see the camera's powering on. And we want kind of a slightly downward, almost 45-degree angle. And I'll have to go back and get the picture to check on that. Okay. So that looks good. Has a little bit of movement. I don't think the wind is going to affect that. If it turns out that wind is causing this camera to move, what I'll have to do is come back and use longer screws and get myself actually planted into the wood siding behind all of this. But I think it's going to be okay. If you had a camera that had like a 3x zoom on it, what happens then is even if there's a slight amount of movement, because you're so zoomed in, the picture starts to move a lot. But this camera has like 110 degrees horizontal field of view. It's very wide, so little micro movements aren't going to affect the image really any. All right, we're going to just quickly strap this up. This heavy-duty zip tie is a little overkill, but it's not gonna hurt. Alright, my GoPro kept dying on me, so I'm just gonna finish this with my phone. I did get the cable strapped up. It's not exactly pretty, but my hands are freezing, and so I think I'm about done out here. I was kind of making fun of myself for using just standard riser cable outside, but I do that sometimes when I have temporary installations. But then I just realized this cable's been up for 8 years. So yeah, everything that seems like it's temporary, it doesn't always turn out to be that way. But it also shows that cheap indoor cable can survive outside for a long period of time. So, all right, that's the installation. I'm not in this review, I'm not going to show the camera setup and all that. I just wanted to show the actual mounting of the camera. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.